can you find somewhere else to keep the birds? So he had to find somewhere else. Lucky enough, there was this farm, and it's literally 5 minutes down the road from where he is, because he lives in a rural area anyway. And he wanted to obviously have a bird room there, but it was impossible to put a conventional bird room on that site. So he looked to what he could use, and he came up with these, well, they're basically office blocks, really, when you think about it. They're office containers. And they're the sort of things you see on the side of a big building site, you know, for the architects, the site foreman, and all that sort of thing. And they come all fully lined out with white down walls. They come with lino, and they so they are very, very nice. They're not, surprisingly. Thank you very much. Sorry. Surprisingly, they're not that expensive. About £4,000 or something like that. Which, in the terms of bird rooms, is not that expensive. So that's what you end up with, and that's not a bad space to start with, is it? That really is quite a nice workable space.
How wide is that?
It's about 8 foot wide, 9 foot, yeah, about 8 foot wide, perhaps 8'6", something like that. So he built this flight on the end. He'd never had an outside flight, and quite honestly, it was a complete waste of bloody time. But he was very lucky that this farmer is more than happy to have him. He's got his own electric point with a meter on it, so there's no arguing about, oh, you're using too much electricity and the bills are going up and all that. He's completely independent of the farmer. The farmer's very happy to have him pay rent cash in hand every month. That obviously goes straight into his bin, and he's got a very nice hard standing to put it on. He's now, in fact, extended this again, because he's now breeding parakeets. He's breeding Bork's parakeets, and he's breeding mutation ones there. And he's a Bork parakeet is basically grey and pink, with a little bit of blue in them. Well, he's got them now. They're violet, completely violet. They are unbelievable things. So he's bought a half container. So Marcel being Marcel, he'd never had a sink unit in his life. He'd obviously been to me and saw how useful they are. So he installed himself a kitchen unit, with obviously fully equipped with sink, and that's he actually got a hot water unit in it as well. It came with those windows and the bars on it and everything, so he didn't need to do anything like that. Once again, he used all Ostringer stuff, and he had this idea once again in his mind about the birds must fly up for their seed, and he put that thing in, but it never worked. It was too sharp for the birds to fly up, so he actually done away with it very quickly. So once again, it's not a huge flight, but it serves its purpose. And you must remember with Marcel, he's now got 32 breeding cages. He had to buy some attachments to that, because, as I said to you before, Ostringer units, they come as units. They're not, you know, they you can't just sort of split half of it up and put half of it somewhere else, right? And so he had to buy some extra bits. And what he did as well, he bought these panels, so that when he's not using certain cages, he can block them off and stop them becoming dirt traps. That is such a wonderful idea. Wonderful idea. Yeah. And once again, he's only using the workable space, 3 cages in a workable space. Well, he's quite a bit younger than me. I'm 70, Marcel's not 60 yet. But even so, you know, you want to have a nice, comfortable working area. All that. I mean, I don't know if you remember Tom up in the Wirral. What was his name? I can't remember. He's a lovely old boy. His cages were 5 high. He had a bloody ladder so high, I'd go up. Well, it's like, well, there was bloody snow on top of the cages. It was so bloody high up. right? Oh, and not only that, I mean, like Fred Wright, he's got 4 high. And I said to him the other day, I said, because he's not been very well. And he's a big old boy anyway, though he's lost a lot of weight, he's still a big old boy. And he said to me, oh, would you do them top drinkers for me? And so I did them for him. And I said to him, Fred, you've got to stop using these top cages. Well, sooner or later, you are going to fall off this bloody ladder. So I'm a lot fit than you, and I'm a lot more mobile than you, and I don't like going up and down the bloody ladder, up and down the steps. All right? I said, sooner or later, you are going to come off them. So now, he's only using the middle road now. All right? You know, I think, you know, I just think with any type of livestock, you need to try and do things that are simple and easy to do. You've got to feed these birds for 365 days a year. And when you're breeding, you've got 6 months of intensive work. I remember going to Reg Crossman. I don't remember, some of the older guys will probably remember Reg Crossman. He was a top champion on the Southern Counties. He was an aggressive bastard, to say the least. Jesus Christ. Right, and he had this bird room, and he had it built by another fancier. And it was a lovely, lovely bird room. And in each cage, he had about 6 pots. Oh no, they got to have separate this and separate that and separate this and separate that. The trouble is, if you've got 6 pots, jam jar feeders in any one cage, there's no room for the bloody birds for a start. And not only that, instead of having 1 dish to keep clean, you've got 6 to keep clean. So what happens? I'll clean them tomorrow. Or I'll do them tomorrow. And you end up with nothing else but a shit pit. Right? So simple methods work so much better, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because I've gone past a bit where that's what I spoke to you. Also, and this is his new baby cage, he sold the other one, and he's got this new cage. I was a bit upset with it because I didn't think he had enough drinkers on it. He came back with, we breed big birds in Switzerland, they need a lot of water. But that's typical Marcel. Why would you need 6 drinkers on a cage with about 8 birds in it?
One each.
Nonsense. If you look inside the cage, you'll see those white pots with the seed in. I have exactly the same. What they are from Switzerland. They're unbelievably expensive, but they are they're commercial food containers. When you go into the sandwich shop and there's the eggs and the tomatoes and things like that, that's what they are. They're the commercial containers for that sort of thing, for food containers. They're ever so well made. They're very expensive. I will say, but I've had mine now for, I don't know, 25 years, and they're as good today as ever. I've got a load of spares. Once again, I never put clean seed into a dirty pot. If they're a bit long, if the food's been in there a while, they're not used up and they start crapping all over the thing. So, what's the birds do, let's face it. Right, I still take it out, tip it in, sieve it, and put it into a clean pot and put it back. And then...
Are they too deep?
That's what I was just going to say.
No, they're not deep. I don't fill them up right to the top like that. And anyway, the way the birds fly in and out, they just blow the husks off the top. And they all delve into it. They're in, you know, they work ever so well. As I said to you before, what Marcel has, I have, and vice versa. He's really into these little hamster type drinkers. So they are built for birds, but they're the same principle.
Do me a favour, Ron.
What?
Remind him about, you see, on the cage, what the little plate.
Yeah.
Need 20. He said he's going to sort me out.
Oh well, you might wait a bleeding long time before he sorts them out for you.
So those ball bearing ones as well, the ball bearing?
They're
Yeah.
all bell bearing ones.
And that's the only water you give them?
So that's the only water they give them.
Yeah, they take it all right, the water.
Yeah.
The birds learn to use them
hamster
so...
ones.
Sorry, Susan.
I've got the hamster ones.
Yeah, the birds used to... I mean, I don't use these on the breeding cages because I'm not there a lot. My wife will change the water for me, right? She goes mad with these because you've got to take them off and everything like that. Where the Flowmatic ones are very easy to do. So, but I don't like the Flowmatic ones on the baby cage because the babies seem to deliberately dump in them, right? So, and I'm obsessed with clean water because water is the biggest carrier of pathogens. You have dirty pots and dirty things like that. I'm telling you what, if you want to kill your birds, don't bother cleaning the drinkers. Right? You don't take them down the vet lab and put down, just leave them in the dirty drinker. Right? These, if you put them on a cage, you know the birds are going to have clean, fresh water available all day long. I also put a steriliser in the water, AV cleanse from the bird company. You only need a little tiny drop, and it keeps the drinkers clean, keeps the water clean, and I feed quite a lot of vitamins as well, and I always feed it into the water because I always put it into the soft food. You don't even know who's eating the soft food. And on a really hot day, by the end of the day, they start to smell. A little tiny bit of that AV cleanse, and it's as fresh as a daisy. But that's me. If you see, this is typical Marcel. If you look at the white bit on the drinker, there's like a little plate. He makes them up, and he rivets them to so you've got something to hold the drinker in the right position. And those stainless steel bands, you can buy them in Germany. We buy them in Germany. I've got those as well. Yeah. So
those drinkers, like the same as the hamsters ones. You find that inside they clog up.
no,
You know, you get the what do they call it, limescale build up.
no.
No, I'll get limescale will build up.
Yeah, well, you put a bit of AV cleanse in the water. No, you're not. So, and I changed them like this morning. They were absolutely clean, but every 4 days I just changed the bottoms, and I got loads of spares. So I soaked them overnight in soapy water, and I put them through the dishwasher. That's the only thing I do put through the dishwasher. I mean, Marcel puts everything through the dishwasher, right? But then he ain't got a wife, right? So I bulk at putting things in my dishwasher with my food plates are going into covered in bird crap. I absolutely bulk at that. I said, Marcel, you are disgusting. And he said, Ron, it sterilises it, takes it above boiling point. It sterilises it. He's probably right. But even so, I still can't put dishes and pots covered in bird muck through my dishwasher. And if I try,
my wife will allow that.
and if I try to do it, I'll get stabbed anyway trying to do that.
No way. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Kill the whole
No, I wouldn't do it to her anyway, but she'd stab me bloody dead. I don't have that a very particularly aggressive wife, but even so, that is over the top. But I do put the drinkers through, and she doesn't mind about it. I don't put the tops of the drinkers through, but I do put the bottoms through because I want to try and sterilise them. Right, you can see the bigger one on the wire there, right? That's about half a litre. They're just exactly the same bottom.
Did you get those from Fred or Harvey?
The guy, what's his name?
Ron Harvey?
Who?
Rob Harvey?
Harvey, yeah,
Harvey.
you can get it from him.
Yeah, no.
Fred stopped selling stuff now. Okay, so that's Marcel's bird room. It's very neat, absolutely tidy. We don't have Fred Wright. He has his food trays up on little stands, and he said, "Oh, it's great for the birds to go underneath." Trouble is, for me, it's just something else I've got to try and keep clean. So I don't want things like that. So being lazy, I try to have fairly straightforward, easy things to manage. So we had a friend that was used to do plastic extrusions, so he made a load of these up for us. I'm not sure if they work terribly well, but we do put them in there.
Does everyone have these? I've read that they're good.
You can't buy these, but the same thing what you can do is, you get square guttering, right? Well, it's the same shape as that. So what you would do, basically, if you just cut a bit of square gutter, say, I don't know, 6 inches, 8 inches long, and if you put it against the back of the cage, it's got a back to it, and the front's open anyway. And the good thing about these and the guttering is they're made of plastic. What's good about plastic? It's easy to keep clean. If you buy a wooden one, by the end of the season, they're just so filthy and dreadful. What can you do with them? You throw them away. People don't like throwing things away, so they keep using it.
I think Sam's doing the plastic ones, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure D.
I mean, he's quite
plastics.
progressive, Sam one.
Yeah.
But this is what we did anyway.
What's name does them anyway? BJS.
There's
See, this
I got
is
some prefabricated units.
this is so typical of Marcel. All right, he's made the little button things up at the bottom there, so that the cage, the drinker, sits there at the exact height that he wants, and he's made up these little wire things at the top to hold it in. Very nice, very neat, very tidy.
He's got no purchase near the drinkers, has
Yeah,
he?
well, that's what he thinks is right, but I don't. I don't always agree with everything he does, but it's undeniable he does very well. No, I'd like a perch underneath them. But he has the same philosophy of me, is that gives you beautiful, clean water all the time. I just talked about the seed containers. This is theirs, right? I mean, they are heavy-duty plastic. They're absolutely beautiful. They're about £12 each, would you believe? And I've got 50. So when I die, there's a few quid there. My son every time I sneeze now, he's up there and checking everything. What's the value of that painting, Dad? I go and look at the book. What's the value? I said, let me die first, boy. That's my bird room. So that's a typical day's feeding for me. Obviously the seed container, which I already spoke to you about. Same material for a dish that goes into the flight. The flat one goes into the flight. I just think it's important that you have a fairly big dish in the flight, because the birds squabble like bloody mad, and if you've got a decent dish you can get 6 or 8 birds eaten off there at once. So that cuts down the aggression within the flight and this pecking order in the flight. And anything that causes stress within the birds. Stress is a big killer of birds, not in itself, but it weakens the immune system of the bird, and then if a bird is carrying something, it will start to develop and could start to be a problem. So anything you can do to keep down stress. The biggest stress thing that happens in birds is too many birds in a given space. All right, my friend, Jesus Christ, she's terrible with names, so I haven't seen him moment here. Anyway, my mate of mine, he said to me, Ronnie, if you've got a bird in your shed, it's got to be able to breed or show. If you can't show with it, and you can't breed with it, why have you got it in your shed? And that's absolutely true. That is such a truism, right? If you go to Garlib and Janice's is soft as a box of lights. Garlib is not man enough, so they can't kill the stuff that needs to be killed in their place. All right? So when I go, they go, oh, here he comes, the Grim Reaper. And I go up there and kill 20 birds. And it's all this, lolloping around, Oh, I'll put that one. Oh no, Janice, oh no. That one has 2 cc's and it's been a lovely bird. But look at the state of it, Janice. Oh no, you can't kill it. So she goes and makes a cup of tea and I kill the bastard thing anyway. Right? And because we're such good mates, she's, oh, you're horrible. Well, that's me.
Ron?
Sorry?
You say that about getting called the Green Reaper. We went down there with Northampton
Right.
a year back, and Dave Moss used to do the press. He comes down and goes, oh, I'm going to put all them down. He said, well, get them ready. I'll sort of make, oh, not Janice, so I'll just go and put the kettle on.
Yeah, go put the kettle on, Janice. And I do the same thing. A little for instance, Frank Silver, when he first came into the fancy, I mean, so that name won't mean anything to anybody, but for people that have been there any length of time. He was a little Indian guy, and he came into the fancy, and he was like he was a very healthy guy. He'd bred dogs, and he'd bred tropical fish. He was very clever, and he was well funded. And that first year, he bred about 600 or 800 birds. And he had birds from all over the place, and he'd bred some absolutely fantastic stuff. But if you've got that much birds from all over the place, you're bound to breed a load of bits and pieces. And a friend of mine from America, he'd heard of him, and he said to me, would you take me over to see Frank Silver? And he lived in Watford, and I only lived 15 minutes from Watford. So I took him over there. I said to him, what do you think? He said, by Christ, he's got some really good birds. But hasn't he got a load of crap as well? So Frank being Frank, phoned me up that night. What did he say? And I told him, he went, All right. I went back about a fortnight later with another friend, and his comments were, Jesus Christ, he got some good. Do you know what? He's got no rubbish at all. Why has he got no rubbish? Because Frank said, anything below a certain level, get rid of it. Right? When people come to your bird room, the first thing they notice is